Good afternoon, viewers. It's Robert Atfield speaking on behalf of Port Carling Boats. It's December 3rd today, 2012, and we're in Gravenhurst, Ontario, at the shop of Mike Windsor. Mike's just been showing me this fabulous restored engine, and I'll get Mike to tell us a little bit about it.
This is a 1913 engine that came out, it's a Sterling engine. Came out of a 1913 Lawley yacht tender. I've worked knowing this boat for several years. All of the time it's been powered with an atomic 4, and the owner always told me that he had the original motor, but it was in a box. And we eventually, when he decided to restore the boat, we found the box. It was stored at the marina, and it was basically a loose box of parts.
Wow.
I was fortunate enough to find a friend of mine, a retired mechanic, who was willing to take on the project, mainly because I don't think any commercial shop would really be willing to do this. There are just too many variables. A lot of the parts, some were missing, some had to be made. The original engine was a crank start. There's a rod that goes through here, and it drives this chain gear, which is the original starting. We weren't sure whether that was really practical these days, so we didn't manage to modify it and make a bracket to put an electric starter on.
Wow.
It is removable. It hasn't changed the engine, but I think in a way it will make the engine a lot more usable.
Right.
The carburetor was a lawnmower carburetor, so we sourced a new carburetor for it and made a preheater for the intake manifold. As a result, it makes it much more reliable. On the other side of the engine here, a beautiful piece of engineering here. This is a Bosch magneto, which provides the ignition. So that this engine runs without a battery. I mean, it can be started without a battery. It runs without a battery.
For goodness sake.
And
now, pardon my ignorance, Mike. For those of us who don't know, how does a magneto do that without an electric charge?
The magneto is a very simple generator. Telephones used them originally as a way to make the bell ringer work. The magneto works by, there are two horseshoe magnets here, and inside of the horseshoe magnets there's a series of windings that rotate. They're driven off of the back of the engine. As the windings rotate, they generate an electrical field.
I see, okay.
And it's a very superior ignition system to what we use today.
Wow.
Coils, or a magneto gives you a lot more spark. It's the problem with this magneto was finding somebody who could rebuild it. So the magneto was actually sent off to a very old fellow in Florida. And I remember his words were, "I'm old, so send it soon."
Well, he's obviously done it, and he's done a good job of it by the look of it, and congratulations to the gentleman that restored it. He's done great work. It's a 4-cylinder engine by the look of it, and it would, what, maybe 15 to 20 horsepower, would you think?
It's 20 horsepower. Another interesting thing is the way the cylinder head is done. Anybody who knows much about motors knows that one of the biggest problem areas is a head gasket. This engine has no head gasket. The head and block and manifold are all cast in one. It's a very elaborate casting.
Wow.
So these brass plugs were originally where the valves would have been machined into the block, and then the plugs put back in.
Wow.
Brass plugs in to cover the evidence of where the machining work had taken place.
Wow.
These little valves on the top, these are priming caps. So if it had been sitting for a while and it was hard to start, you would open this valve, take a little oil can full of gasoline, put a few drops of gasoline in there, close it, and do all 4 cylinders, and usually it would start instantly.
So that would give it a bit of a kickstart. Yeah. Well, that's quite amazing, and I'm quite impressed with the technology, given the fact that it's about 100 years old. Now, while I'm here, Mike, I'm going to spin around, if I may, to the Lawley that you've been working on. Viewers, we have an earlier video of this boat, taken about a year ago, I believe, when Michael was working on it. And Mike, it looks like it's in its final stages.
It's getting there. Last year we had originally planned on doing the boat over the winter. Then the owner wound up selling his property. He didn't have a boathouse, and I had too much work last year. So it was mutually beneficial for us to spread the restoration over an extra year. And so here it is in the second winter, and it's going to be ready for its 100th anniversary this spring for sure.
Wow.
It's involved quite a bit. We've re-ribbed the entire boat. The entire bottom has been replanked. The whole deck has been taken off and refastened and put back on.
It looks like it just come out of the showroom.
Well, it still has another 6 coats of varnish to go.
How many do you have on it now, Mike?
There are 5 on it now.
So 11 coats all in total. Well, it's going to be wonderful to see this boat back on the water. There you have it, viewers. An absolutely historic Lawley vessel with its, I guess, original Stirling engine to be reinstalled. And hopefully she'll be plying the lakes of Ontario?
Lake Muskoka.
Lake Muskoka in the spring. So watch for this lovely Lawley when she hits the water. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, well.
Hello, viewers. We're continuing our little mini snoop around Muskoka this afternoon. We'll take a quick look in Paul Brackley's Brackley Boat Shop. Here we are in Paul's shop, viewers, and this magnificent old Chris Craft cabin cruiser, which, if we remember correctly, is a 1935, a 36-footer, is reaching what seems to be the final stages of its restoration. We'll go up top in just a moment. Porthole windows have been removed. Massive, massive boat. Viewers, you can see that the twin engines have been reinstalled. Interceptor engines, pardon me. Not sure of the horsepower, but they look like pretty beefy power plants. You can see that the interior has been sanded and revarnished. And obviously some connecting work is still going on down here. The team working on this Chris Craft hopes to have it completed by the spring of 2013. And we'll try and get back for one more visit before she leaves the shop. I'm sure there's going to be a very happy owner once this restorative work has been completed. Just below, before we leave, viewers, here's Nick working on some cabinetry and some back. Nick, it was the back?
It's a back cockpit.
Back cockpit.
Chris Craft.
Okay. Now that almost looks like a toilet seat cover rather than a...
It is.
It's a toilet seat cover.
So we're stripping it so we can refinish it.
Wow. So as you can see, viewers, this is an absolutely complete restoration from start to finish, inside and out. Thanks, Nick. Good luck with it.
Yep, thank you.